Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ezeshenet Initiatives. My name is Ezekiah, you call me Ezeshenet, and you can follow me on all social media platforms at Ezeshenet. Today we are going to be going straight into music theory class part 1, the basic concepts of music. If you are seeing my face for the very first time, my name is Ezekiah. Follow me on all social media platforms. Do not forget to give this video a very big thumbs up if you find it very helpful. Also, don't forget to share so that every other person out there who needs this information can also get it and get educated musically. I want to see a world whereby a lot of choristers out there in churches can also interpret their own music by themselves. Alright, I think I am talking too much. Let's get straight into it. The basic concepts of music theory. I see you on the other side.
Yeah, guys, so let's get on with the tutorials. It's introduction to music theory, and today we are starting the series with basic concepts. And my name once again is Ezekiah. Call me Ezeshenet. Do not forget to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to leave a like on the video as well, so that other people who are also interested in music education like this can also benefit from it. All right, so let's get on with it. What is music? Well, I always tell people I do not give music a particular definition, but whatever definition you find here is my own personal definition of what music is. All right, so what is music? Music can be defined as a collection of sound waves that is palatable to hearing. As you all know, music is part of what we call sound. Yeah, sound waves. We have noise, and then we have music. Noise is what is not palatable to hearing, whereas music is palatable. All right. Definition is not what we're doing today, so let's just scrap that. Now, the basic concepts of music. What are the basic things that you need to know? The first thing is what we call pitch. All right. Now, what is pitch? Pitch has to do with notes. All right. On the piano, there are 88 keys, 88 notes, 88 buttons, as you may decide to call it. And then, as you move from the right, as you move from the left to the right on the piano, the notes sound higher and tinier. But when you move from right to left, it sounds lower. Let me show you what I mean. All right. Now this is a diagram of a piano. Right. You can see from the diagram right here. So you can see that when the note is coming to the left, right, it becomes lower. But then when it is going to the right, it becomes higher. You can see right there. That is what we're trying to say. Okay, so let me bring up a piano, a real life piano, and then let's see what happens there. Okay, so you I'm gonna now look at it. You can see now that is going from left to right. You can see the note sounds higher and tinier. Let me play that once again. So that is going from left. Now let me walk from right to left, and then you hear how that sounds. You can hear that. You can see that the sound goes tinier. It goes broader, and then deeper. Let me play that one more time. All right, so that is how it sounds. That is what pitch is all about. Okay, so now the next thing you want to look at is what we call notation. Now what can we say about notation? Now music is written on a staff, just like every other language out there. You have to learn it. Now music is written on a staff. A staff comprises of 5 parallel lines and 4 spaces. Most of you must have seen a music sheet before, or a sheet music as it is called. music piece, some people will call it now. But then this is what a music what a staff looks like. You can see 5 parallel lines and 4 spaces. All right, so let's go on. Now another thing, we're still talking about the basic concepts. Okay, so the next thing you want to understand is the clef. All right, there are different type of clefs, but then what is a clef? A clef orients the lines to a reference point. All right, a clef orients the lines to a reference point. It is also used to determine the voice range for classification of a particular section in music. Okay, musically, voice classifications are in different types. Later in the series, we are going to talk about voice classification. All right, but for now, what's a clef? A clef is used to determine the voice range or classification of a particular section of the music. Now, there are different types of clefs, but for the purpose of your level, who is a beginner, I'm going to limit it to just 2. All right, you look at the one right here, this particular one right here. This is one, and then this is another one. We are going to limit ourselves to these 2. Okay, just these 2 clefs, and then we're going to go further in the class. So this particular one is called the G clef or the treble clef. Repeat after me: the G clef or the treble clef, while the other one is called the F clef or the bass clef. So for your level, I already said I am limiting it just to the G clef and the F clef, or you call them the treble clef and the bass clef. Okay, now this is how you see these clefs represented on the sheet music or on the staff. Look at the G clef, it's sitting right here, and then the F clef is sitting right here. Now there are 2 points that you have to take note of or while writing these clefs on your staff. Look at this particular point. Okay, this particular point of the G clef, I call it the note. Okay, the note, let me write that. I call it the note of the clef. The note of the clef. Are you getting it now? Take note of where that note is sitting. At the same time, look, that of the F clef is sitting right here. So just make sure, you are going to need it later in the class. All right, so make sure you keep this at the back of your mind. All right, next that you need to know the music alphabet. All right, now I already mentioned earlier that music is written on a staff. Okay, so now what are the music alphabets? Now they are otherwise called the major keys. I call them the major keys. You might have seen other materials or other teachers talk about them in different ways, but what I do is to make sure that I simplify this. I make it as simple as possible. All right, now the music alphabets are also called the major keys. Music makes use of the first 7 letters of the English alphabet, which are A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. There is no H in music. Okay, there is no H in music. Alright, look at how this appears on the clef, on the staff rather. Don't forget, I already mentioned that we have 2 types of clefs. All right, we have the G clef or treble clef, and then we have the F clef or the bass clef. Okay, now can you tell me what clef this particular music or this particular staff is written on? The clef is sitting right here. Take a moment and take a guess, or you take the video back a little bit so that you can get it. I am sure you have been writing them down. You can pause the video to answer this question. Right, it is the G clef or the treble clef. Now, the way the music alphabet is arranged on a G clef staff is different from how it is arranged on the F clef staff. Now, I want you to pay attention to this arrangement. This particular arrangement. You can see that the music alphabet is written, but not all the alphabets are written. Are you getting it now? Not all the keys are written. Now, this is something you have to memorize. Yes, you have to memorize it. This is a basic information that you have to grasp in music. All right. Now, music. Don't forget what I already said. Music is written on a staff, right? But when we are counting, we always count from the bottom, which means the first line is at the bottom, I'm talking about something like this. Okay, music is this way, not downward. All right, is upward. So which means this particular line is the first line, this is the second line, this is the third line, the fourth line, and the fifth line. And at the same time, we don't only read the lines, we also read the spaces. All right, we also read the spaces. Now we are going to take it to one step at a time. Let's look at just the lines alone right now, just the lines. All right, the lines alone. And you can see, look at the first line, it goes with the key of E. The second line goes with the key of G. The third line goes with the key of B. The fourth line goes with the key of D. And the fifth line goes with the key of F. You can see they are written, and it is very, very glaring. It is very, very glaring. This is E, this is G, this is B, the fourth line is D, and the fifth line is F. All right, so now let's look at how can you remember this very, very easily, and take note of these mnemonics right here. So for the lines of the G clef, we say every good boy deserves fine. Well, I always say every good boy deserves Fanta. Okay, this material says every good boy does fine, but I always say every good boy deserves Fanta. Yeah, that is something I can easily remember than saying every good boy does fine. Yeah. So for the lines on the G clef staff, every good boy deserves Fanta. All right, that is for the lines. Now let us go to the spaces. Now to the spaces, there are only 4 spaces there. All right, look at it. So we have this first space is on the key of F, the second one is on A, the third one is on C, and the last one, which is the fourth one, is on E. So mnemonics or acronym phase. All right, for the lines is every good boy deserves Fanta, or you say every good boy does fine. All right, but for the spaces, you say FAC, which is face. Now, one way, there are 2 ways by which you can easily get this if you don't want to memorize these mnemonics. Is this: the first line on the G clef staff is on the key of E. Okay, is on the key of E. So once you know the first line is on E, so definitely the space that follows is going to be on F, which is right here. It's going to be on F, which is definitely right there. And then the next thing after the space is a line, which is the line of G right here. Okay, then after the line of G, then we have A, which is right here. Can you get it now? So that is A, just alphabetical order. And don't forget that after G, music does not have H, it goes back to A, because music is in a loop. Later in the series, we are going to be talking about octaves. Now when music goes from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, it goes back to A. Are you getting that? And that is what is playing out right here. So after the space of A, the next thing is a line. After A in the English alphabet is B. That is why we have this B right here. And then after the B, we have another space, which is C right here. And then we have the line of D, we have the space of E, and then we have the line of F. So there are 3 ways by which you can get this done. It is either you memorize the mnemonics, or you memorize the first line of the clef, of the staff rather, on which the clef is written. Now this is what we are dealing with right now, is a staff that has G clef written on it. Okay, so the first line on the G clef is E. So just do your alphabetical order upward. Don't forget the first line is always the one at the bottom. Okay, so that's the second method. Now the third method, remember the node I was talking about the other time. Now for the G clef, remember, look at this node. The node is called around the second line. The second line, this line right here, that is where the node is called around. And what is the name of this clef again? Do you remember? It is called the G clef or the treble clef. Now I'm going to take the word G clef. So because the note is sitting on the second line, that particular line is called the line of G. That is the line of G. So if this line is G, the space before it is going to be F, and then the line before it is going to be E. Now this third method might be a little bit a lot of story. You have to be looking for the E and the G. So whatever works for you, I've given you 3 methods. Whatever works for you is what you're gonna do. All right. Now that is for the G clef. Now let's look at the F clef. The F clef staff is different from the G clef staff. That's the reason why we have the G clef and then we have the F clef. Okay. Now the F clef is somewhat 2 steps downward, because the F clef always houses the deeper voices, while the G clef always houses the higher pitch voices. Okay, now if you look at the F clef, which is sitting right here, the F clef that is sitting right here, now look at what we have on the F clef. Now you see that the first line, you use those 3 methods I taught you on the G clef as well on the F clef to understand what is going on. Okay, now the G clef, the F clef, the first line is the line of G. Don't forget that I said the G clef is kind of 2 steps down from the G clef. So look at it, G is on the second line on the G clef, but on the F clef it has come down 2 steps. One is the space 1 and then the line 2. It has come down 2 steps, and then we have G to be on the first line. Okay, the first method is to understand that okay, G is the first line. Okay, so and then the second line is a B, D, F, A. The mnemonics is written right here, which says good boys do fine always. Like I say, good boys deserve Fanta always. Okay, now whichever works for you, you do. And then coming down to the spaces, okay, to the spaces you have ASEG, and then the mnemonics for that says all cows eat grass. All cows eat grass. All cows eat grass. All cowboys eat gari. So whichever one works for you, there is no particular stipulated one that you must use. Whichever works for you, you do. And then coming to the second method. The second method is just to understand that okay, you already know G, you know that the next space is going to be A. Since you know that the first line is G, then the space above is going to be A, followed by a line of B, and then a space of C, and then a line of D, and then a space of E, and then a line of F, a space of G, and a line of A. Alright, so that is just how to read your music on F clef and on G clef. Now the third method, don't forget that I told you that there is a particular note, and the note for the F clef is on the 4th line. The clef is called F clef, so which means that particular 4th line is the line of F. So if this is line of F, the space above it is going to be G, and so on and so on and so forth. All right, let's forge ahead. Another thing that you have to know is octave register. The note names used in music are A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like I already said, they are known as the musical alphabet. Now after G, the note returns, and then A, B, C, D occurs again and again. Like I already mentioned earlier, the music is written in a loop. Are you getting it? It's in a loop. After G, there is no H, it goes back to A. So from A to A is a single octave. Are you getting it now? A to A is a single octave. B to B is a single octave, and so on and so forth. Now the distance from any note to a note of the same name in the next register above or below is called octave, which is abbreviated like this. Yeah, that is octave. You can find it abbreviated like that. Now how can the piano keyboard have 88 notes, or app and the keyboard piano have 88 keys, right? The keyboard piano has 88 keys, and then there are only 7 notes names. The musical alphabet repeats, like I mentioned. It repeats, it goes back, it repeats 7 times with an extra ABC at the top, which means we have at least 7 octave registers on a single piano. There are also 5 chromatic notes in each register. Later in the series, we are going to be talking about the chromatic scales, all right, the chromatic scale rather, and the chromatic notes, now which we will learn about when we discuss accidentals. Accidentals is going to introduce us into the chromatic scales. Now, when learning about octave registers, we will focus on the note C for reasons that will soon become clear when we learn about the major scale. All right, now we use octave registers C4, D5, etc. to specify the exact register of a note. The note C4 is known as middle C. I'm going to explain that later, and is an important reference point. Now, look at the example below. Okay, now look at this now. Let me show you this. This is, don't fret. Later I'm going to explain what all of this means, but then this particular key, this particular note rather, this is a C. Okay, this is a C. This particular note right here is a B. It's called B0. Now this is a C1. I'm going to start from C. Now this is C1 because don't forget I already mentioned that we have repetition all over. So this is a C1. This is another C, which is C2. This is another C, which is C3. This is another C, which is C4. It is called the middle C. All right, it's the one in the middle. This is another C, C5. This is another C, which is C6. This is another C, C7, and this is another C8. Now look at it. You count C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You can see we are back to C again. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That is why. So that is how it goes. Now note that the register number, okay, note that the register number changes after the note B each time. Now B4 is followed by C5. I'm guessing that the note register changes. So after, for instance, after B0, that's when we have C1, and after B4 is when we have C, which means after B1 is when we are going to have C2. That is not the major thing that you need to learn right now. Now, in treble clef, middle C is noted on the ledger line before the staff.
Alright guys, it's a wrap for today. I'm sure you have learned 1 or 2 things. Ensure that you have a notepad that you always use to jot down things in this class, okay? It is music theory, and like I said, I'm going to take you from being a novice to being an expert in interpreting your music and sight reading. Thank you very much. If you have not subscribed yet, this is the right time to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that you get notified each time I upload a new video, okay? And do not forget to share so that every other person out there can also benefit from this piece of information that you are enjoying. In addition, don't forget that later this week I'm going to be uploading a particular hymn that we are going to be discussing. I'll tell you the story, the background story, and perform that particular hymn live here on my channel. Once again, my name is Ezekiah, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye bye.